Hey, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. I'm welcome to my top 10 personal favorite Michael Keaton movies. Yes, last week SpiderMan Homecoming came out and it was awesome. And do you know who was awesome in it? Who was probably the best in it? Well, Tom Holland was pretty awesome. But yes, Michael Keaton as the Vulture. And yes, I love Michael Keaton. I love almost everything he does. Even when he plays in a shitty movie, he's always usually the best thing in that shitty movie. And again, I can't believe I haven't done this top 10 list already, but hey, here we go. Better late than never. Here's my top 10 personal favorite Michael Keaton movies. Alright, let's get to it, shall we? And before a top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. And my honorable mentions are The Founder, The Other Guys, Live from Baghdad, A Shot at Glory, Out of Sight, Jackie Brown, Multiplicity, Batman Returns, Clean and Sober, and The Dream Team. A lot of honorable mentions, all pretty darn good movies. They just couldn't make the top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is the movie Night Shift. Yes, this movie is directed by Ron Howard. This is probably, I think, one of the first Michael Keaton movies, and he co-stars in this movie with Henry Winkler. Yes, the Fonz himself. Ayy. Basically, it's the story about these two guys who do the night shift at a morgue, and basically they come up with this idea to start their own brothel in a morgue while doing the night shift. And yeah, it's a pretty raunchy comedy in the 1980s. This movie came out, I think, in 1982. Yes, the best year of cinema, 1982. Blade Runner. God damn it, I love that movie. Anyways, Night Shift is a very good movie. It is well directed. Henry Winkler, Michael Keaton are both hilarious. They're both hysterical in this movie. They both have great chemistry. Yes, it's kind of like Risky Business, but in a morgue. But I think this movie came out. Did this movie come out before or after Risky Business? I'll put it up there just in case I forgot. But still, this movie's great. This movie's great. It's dark. It's edgy. It's hilarious, and it's one of my favorite Michael Keaton movies. Coming number 9 is Mr. Mom. Again, this is one of the early Michael Keaton movies, one of his first early roles, and I love this movie. This is not a night shift movie. This is not a dark, raunchy comedy. This is just a simple family comedic film about a guy who doesn't work anymore, and basically when his wife is in work, he has to be the stay-at-home mom. Yes, he is the stay-at-home mom. He has to take care of the kids, he has to cook every meal, go to the parent-teacher conferences and stuff. He basically has to be the mom, hence the title Mr. Mom. And this is a very family-friendly, very funny, very entertaining movie, mostly thanks to Michael Keaton, because Michael Keaton gives an A-game performance in this movie, and he is just hilarious in this film. His chemistry with the wife and the children is really well done. The story, the premise is really good. It's just a fun, lighthearted comedy that I do enjoy. Coming number 8 is The Paper. Yes, another Ron Howard movie. This is a really good dramatic comedy about a newspaper column. This is actually not the only newspaper movie Michael Keaton was in that's actually going to be on this top 10 list, but I love this movie. This is a great movie with a great cast. You got Michael Keaton, Randy Quaid, Marissa Tomei, who's also in SpiderMan Homecoming, Aunt May, very good looking Aunt May. Anyways, Glenn Close is in this movie, Robert Duvall's in this movie. It's got a very big cast, and basically it's about this one journalist in particular, and he's like, he always gets this adrenaline when he's going after a new scoop, a new story. Basically he's tackling the story about this murder that happened. These juveniles are being charged, but then he starts diving into it. Maybe it was a mob hit. Then he finds out all about this corruption and stuff, but they don't want to post his story and all that kind of stuff. All during this time, his wife is pregnant. She's almost going into labor. She needs him there at the hospital with her, and yeah, this is just a really good movie. It's a really well written movie. It's a very well directed movie. It's one of my favorite Ron Howard movies. It's really darkly comedic, but it is my kind of comedy. And there's something about like newspaper movies, about newspaper columnists. I always find that very interesting, and this movie is very interesting. It has a lot of good dramatic scenes, a lot of good characters, a lot of good performances, and yeah, it's one of my favorite Michael Keaton movies. Coming number 7 is a tie between two animated movies, and that is Porco Rosso and Toy Story 3. Porco Rosso is not as good as Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is a better movie, but since he's not huge in Toy Story 3, he's the main character in Porco Rosso, I just decided to put them both as a tie. Porco Rosso is a great Hayao Miyazaki movie, and Michael Keaton does a very good job in the English dub version. He does the voice justice. He gets right into the character. Even though the movie itself doesn't make sense why he's a big pig, but still, I love the movie. I love how atmospheric it is. The animation is gorgeous. Hayao Miyazaki's direction is amazing. Not the best Miyazaki movie, but still a damn good one with an interesting character, interesting story, interesting elements, and a well-structured and well-paced plot. And yeah, again, I love Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso is a great film. Toy Story 3 is a little bit better, but again, he's not huge in the movie, Michael Keaton, so I couldn't put it lower in the list, but yeah, it's still Toy Story 3. It's Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is my second favorite Toy Story movie out of the Toy Story trilogy, and I love it. It's got a very sad ending. It's got all the characters that we all know and love with beautiful animation. And yeah, Michael Keaton is in this movie as Ken, and he's a villain, and that alone is hilarious, and it's really funny. He's like this very feminine toy, and they all think he's like gay and stuff, and it's really funny. Like, just his role in Toy Story 3 is just genius, and it's so funny. And yeah, both these movies are great animated films, and of course they both had to be on this top 10 list. Coming number 6 is SpiderMan Homecoming. Yes, this movie just came out last week, and I absolutely adore it. I'll leave a link down below to my entire review. I went into depths about it and how much I love the movie and stuff, and yeah, again, because I can't spoil this movie, and I can't spoil what Michael Keaton does in this movie and how important he is in this movie. All I gotta say, he's great. Him as the Vulture is fantastic. Every scene that he does have with Peter Parker is really well done. The movie itself is great. It's got great action, great visuals. Tom Holland is a fantastic Spider-Man. Downey Jr. is great. Marissa Tomei's great. I love that it's this high school movie and this comedic film as well. It's a superhero movie, and yeah, it's probably my second favorite Spider-Man movie, and it's my 6th favorite Michael Keaton movie. Coming number 5 is Spotlight. Yes, I told you, he was in another newspaper movie, and this is better than the movie The Paper. And The Paper is a great film, but I love this movie Spotlight. This was one of my favorite movies of 2015. This is a great film. It's amazingly well written, and the way Tom McCarthy wrote and directed this film was so solid, so great. This is probably the second best Tom McCarthy movie. I still think The Station Agent is probably his best movie, but I love this movie. I love how it tells a real story. This is a story that is based on a true story about the journalists in the Boston Globe, and basically they tackle this issue that was a very controversial issue, and that was about priests molesting children. And yeah, they wanted to run this story about the church in the Vatican covering up all these priests, because all these priests molested these children, and none of them got prison time. They were just sent to like treatment centers. None of them went to prison. There was no justice for these children that were being molested by these priests. And everyone said this is not just spiritual abuse and verbal abuse and mental abuse, but again, it is against the law, and they are breaking the law, and they think that's okay because they're priests, they're serving God, so they could break the law. And this journalist team called Spotlight who work for the Boston Globe, they want to tackle this issue and run this story to tell people the truth. And it's an amazing story. It's so well done, so well written. The dialogue is so great, and there's no overacting in this movie. It feels very real. This entire movie is very realistic. It's very brutal and maybe a little too realistic. It's very hard to watch sometimes, but it is a very well done film. And Michael Keaton is fantastic in this movie. John Salerty is great in this movie. Mark Ruffalo, Rachel McAdams, Stanley Tucci, Liev Schreiber. Everyone is great in this movie. How Tom McCarthy made this movie was also really good. And yeah, I absolutely love this movie. Spotlight, a fantastic film. Coming number 4 is Batman. Yes, Batman. Tim Burton's 1989 Batman. Again, a movie that I've talked a lot about, but it's a great film. It's one of my favorite Batman movies. It's not my all-time favorite Batman movie, but still a damn good one. Michael Keaton is a great Batman. He's a great Bruce Wayne. Even though the movie does focus a little too much on Joker, it's Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson is a great Joker. I love everything about this movie. I love its campy, gothic tone and feel. I love its practical action. I love the henchman Bob. I even really enjoy Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, even though she's kind of like a damsel in distress. There's great. Danny Elfman's score is fantastic. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Batman themed song. It's really well done, and yeah, I love this movie. This brought Batman to the big screen. This is the reason why we have great superhero movies now. This is what made superhero movies really popular. Yes, people say, well, what about Superman? Honestly, other than Superman and Superman 2, we really didn't have any good superhero movies until Batman '89 came out. This movie laid down the ground for superhero films, and yeah, this movie's amazing. Coming number 3 is Beetlejuice. Yes, Beetlejuice. Yes, this is actually another Tim Burton film, and I do like this movie a little more because, again, I grew up with this movie. I grew up with Batman too. I love Batman. I've always loved Batman. I grew up with Beetlejuice first. I watched this movie when I was very young. Yes, I watched the whole version, not the clean version like on TBS, with the F words and all, and I love this movie. This movie is so funny, it's so stylistic. I love Tim Burton's feel. This is what made me love Tim Burton, was Beetlejuice. How funny it was, how gothic it was, how weird and strange and bizarre it was. I loved everything about Beetlejuice. I loved the performances, Winona Ryder, Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, and of course Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. He's only got 12 minutes of screen time, and he is laugh out loud hilarious. The makeup, his voice, his performance is just awesome. He is so great in this movie. The movie itself is funny. It's very original and fresh. I love the story. I love the characters. This movie's just great. It's Beetlejuice. Coming number 2 is Birdman, or what's the proper title? Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Is that the right word? Is that the right title? Yes, anyways. This movie is written and directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, a guy who's done a lot of great work. This is my favorite film by him. This is his best movie, in my opinion. This movie is so fantastic. Michael Keaton should have won the Oscar. Yes, I'm saying it. Everyone knows that I have this hate for theory of everything and Eddie Redmayne, but still, Michael Keaton deserved the win. I'm glad this movie won Best Director, Picture. It deserved it. It also deserved the Best Actor. Michael Keaton is amazing in this film. I love that this movie pokes fun of the early Batman works and stuff. I love it, it's about this actor who's washed up. He's only remembered for one role, and he wants to be taken seriously as an actor on Broadway. He wants to be a real serious stage actor. And yeah, this is a great film. The entire movie all looks like it's done in one shot because the whole movie's trying to feel like it's one big play. It's brilliant. The way Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu directed this film and how he wrote this film, the shots are absolutely amazing. I love how this movie balances dramatic scenes and really darkly comedic scenes and stuff, and yeah, I love it. The performances, Michael Keaton's amazing, Edward Norton, Emma Stone, and even Zach Galifianakis, an actor who I don't always like, but he is really great in this film. And this movie itself is just a bizarre, unique, fresh film, but yeah, again, I absolutely love it. It's hands down the second best Michael Keaton movie. And my number 1 favorite Michael Keaton movie is Much Ado About Nothing. Everyone should know it's Much Ado About Nothing because Much Ado About Nothing is my favorite Shakespeare play, my favorite Shakespeare movie, my favorite Kenneth Branagh movie, and it's actually one of my favorite films of all time. As you saw in my top 10 favorite movies of all time, this is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Again, this is all a subjective list. This is a subjective opinion. I love this movie. Again, I love the play it's based off of. I love the Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing. I can talk. It's my favorite play. It's my favorite play written by Shakespeare, and he's written a lot of great plays, but that is my favorite, and I love the movie. I even love the Joss Whedon remake with the more modern version, but this is a great film. I love how Kenneth Branagh adapted the play in a very accurate way, and he gave it that charm, that wit, and that style, and it works beautifully. The performances by everyone's great. Yes, Kenneth Branagh, Michael Keaton as Dogberry, my favorite character, hilarious. Well, him and Benedict are both my favorite character, but yeah. You got Robert Sean Leonard, Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves, Kate Beckinsale, Emma Thompson. All of them give fantastic performances. This movie is really comedic. It's really timely. It's a timeless film. The production, the costume's great. The romances are great. I find this story just absolutely intriguing and stuff. Everything about this movie is just fantastic. Again, it's my favorite play, my favorite Shakespeare movie, and my favorite Michael Keaton movie. Yeah, that was my top 10 personal favorite Michael Keaton movies. So in the comment section below, please tell me what are your top 10 favorite Michael Keaton movies. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and join the dark side.